And now, after so many false starts and bad fics where he has appeared in, and he went out like a bitch that made no sense, we present to you, finally, Shadow the Hedgehog. Yes, he'll actually pop up in this fic, and won't just be me making assumptions based off of a fan character made years before his appearance. Shadow the Hedgehog, Part 1. Searching for Pinkie Pie. As the ponies expected, looking for Pinkie Pie was easier said than done. Looking for Sonic or Rainbow Dash would have been one thing. At least they could have been seen while they were moving, if only as a blur and only a few seconds at best. But every pony, including the cutie Crusaders, knew that the Pink Party pony was another matter entirely. After all, how do you locate or keep track of a pony to get chased down the fastest runners and flyers just by bouncing around and can peer inside of mirrors? Still, they hoped, with the pink pony as unpredictable as he could be at times, they could pick the random spot to start searching and Pinkie would show up here. As they headed directly to the elastic Pinkie Pie, both SPO and Apple Bloom were brought up onto speed on the current situation. By the time they were finished, the group had wandered out of Ponyville and were now standing near a dirt path the ponies all recognized that went straight into what appeared to be a white forest. Oh my god! Whitetail Wood! I'm sorry, is this so rarely used as a location? I'm shocked! I'm stunned! So many fics like to go with the basics, Everfree Forest, and all that. They forget that there's this normal forest called Whitetail Wood. So well we know, Knuckles asked to no one in particular. Applejack answered, "This here's Whitetail Wood, Knuckles. It's where the running of the leaves takes place." Tails asked, "What's the running of the leaves?" Sonic spoke up, "It's one of Equestria's seasonal events. When autumn rolls around, all the ponies get together and run through the forest in order to knock the leaves off trees. At least, that's what I gathered from what Applejack told me." Tails and the others looked over at the Earth ponies. He nodded. "Yep, that's the basic idea behind it." Tails asked, "So, does that mean you ponies are heavily involved with Equestria's seasons?" Rainbow Dash said, "Seasons and weather? Cloudsteel produces all the weather in Equestria. Rain, snow, wind, everything." Crane spoke, "Yes, Miss Dash." Cheese chirped happily agreement. "Yes." Rainbow frowned. "Miss Dash." While Applejack chuckled at our Cyan friend's reaction, SPL said, "Please do not call Miss Cream out on her manners. She was simply being polite, as her mother taught her to be." Looking at the trail leading into Whitetail Wood, Tails asked, "Do you think Pinkie Pie could have gotten here?" So I said, "Maybe, but Pinkie Pie's not always easy to guess what she's going to do next." Looking around, she added, "If she did come here, it's not going to be easy to find her." Sonic nodded, "Even though she's pink, it does look like that all that white could hide her if she's standing in the right place, doesn't it?" Spike said, "I doubt she's just standing in the middle of a white forest. Unless she's ranting like she was earlier. The only time Pinkie ever stands still is when she's talking to somebody, or when she's trying to do something." Fluttershy softly asked, "But she could still be standing still, right? I mean, she has been able to stand still for other reasons, hasn't she?" Rarity exclaimed, "You're absolutely right, Fluttershy. She has. How will we ever find her if she is indeed standing still in Whitetail Wood?" I was looked over and said, "I think you're overreacting there, Rarely. Pinkie does have her odd habits, but I'm sure she wouldn't wander too far off the main path." Even nodded as she flew up above everybody's heads. "Right, so she's in there. She shouldn't have to search as hard to find her. That means Sonic and I could do a quick run through Whitetail Wood and easily find out where Pinkie Pie's in there or not. And if she's not, we can start searching somewhere else." Sonic pointed his thumb towards where the running of the leaves track began. As he looked up at Rainbow and said, "Okay, I'll start searching this way." Rainbow looked down at him as she replied, "All right, I'll start searching for the other end." Sonic nodded, then they both took off, a blue streak and a rainbow streak appearing into Whitetail Wood. Knuckles grunted, "Show-offs." Applejack said, "Personally, I think Rainbow Dash is the bigger show-off, Knuckles." Tails turned to Twilight and asked, "So, aside from the weather and seasons, what else is controlling Equestria?" While the rest of the group waited to hear their report, Sonic and Rainbow Dash zoomed through Whitetail Wood at a slower than usual pace, so it'd be easier to spot Pinkie Pie, knocking some leaves off the tree as they went. After a short time, they made up into Fork of the Road, coming to a stop in front of an arrow sign pointing out to Forest Trail. Rainbow landed on the ground and asked, "Any luck?" Sonic shook his head. "Nothing. Thought I saw something moving behind the trees a few times, but every time I turned around and went back to look, there was nothing there. How about you?" Rainbow replied, "I saw a portal back down the path, but that's about it. I didn't see anything moving." She then asked, "You sure you saw something moving? I mean, did you see a shadow or anything?" Sonic looked back down the path as he answered, "All I saw was a silhouette, and it looked familiar." A moment's silence, he said, "How's this for an idea? Show me where you saw the portal, then we'll double back to the forest entrance, see if we can find whoever was creeping around back there." Rainbow replied, "Sounds as good as plan as any. Follow me!" She spread her wings, lifted off the ground. She then led the way to the forest, with Sonic following close behind. "So, unicorns used to move the sun and moon in olden times. Now Princess Celestia and Princess Luna do it? That's very interesting," Tails commented. Cream added, to which Cheese agreed. Rarity said, "Certainly it's not all that surprising." Spike added, "Yeah, you're well similar to Equestria, so you must have something that moves your sun and moon." Knuckles spoke, "No, not really. All sun and moon rise and set on their own. As far as we know, nothing is moving them." Twilight tapped her chin with a hoof as she said, "Really? That's interesting. But the sun and moon are still very important, right?" Tails nodded, "Oh, absolutely. Just because they're different doesn't mean that they're any less important than yours are. And their importance could be different depending on where you are. Like, the kingdom of Soliana has a sun god, and all the people all revere. And in Shamar, the people celebrate the feast of sun and moon. So, yes, the sun and moon are important around the world." Twilight nodded in understanding. Before they could say anything, SBO spoke. "Look, here comes Sonic and Rainbow Dash." Everybody turned towards the entrance to Whitetail Wood and saw the two speedsters approaching. Sonic skating to a stop in front of the group, Rainbow slowing down and landing on the ground next to him. Tails was the first to speak. "Hey guys, did you find Pinkie Pie?" Rainbow shook her head. "We covered most of Whitetail Wood twice, and we didn't find anything. Not even a strand of Pinkie's hair." Sonic added, "When we were searching on our own, I thought I saw something, but it didn't look like a pony. After we met up, I didn't see it again." Knuckles groaned. "Great, so what do we do now? Are you sure we need to find her right now? We can't just find her later?" Rarity said, "Of course we can't, Knuckles. Pinkie Pie is not only one of the elements of harmony, but one of our best friends. We can't just leave her alone without any idea what's going on." Twilight nodded. "You're right, Rarity. No matter what, we can't go on without Pinkie Pie. We have to find her." SBO asked, "So, where do you propose we look for her, Twilight? Is it unreasonable to assume that she might have gone back to the bakery?" Rainbow said, "Yeah, nobody the chameleon calmly provided. SBO. Rainbow replied, "Right. Anyway, she could have gone back to Secret Corner, but she's just likely to have gone anywhere else. Even when we're in the middle of something, she could be hard to keep track of." Cream muttered, "Oh, I hope she's okay." Tails nodded, "Yeah, me too, Cream. I know we just started looking, but I'm already starting to worry about Pinkie Pie." Random Pinkie Pie appears. After he said that, the tree he was closest to asked, "That's so sweet of you." Everybody looked at the tree. Tails eyed as he stared at it. "Did that tree just talk?" he asked incredulously. At that, Pinkie Pie fell out the tree's leaves and landed in a sitting position in front of the group, giggling. "No way, silly. Trees don't talk." She then held her hook to her chin as she wondered, "What was that pillows?" Apple was there. "What the?" Knuckles asked. "How does she do that?" SBO placed a hand on his chin as he wondered. "Some form of ninjutsu, perhaps." Applejack looked at him and said, "I don't know what that is, but I don't think Pinkie knows anything about no Lin Ten Do." At that, everybody started looking at her very angrily. SBO, a little terribly, muttered, "Ninjutsu." Rainbow glanced over and said, "Gesundheit." SBO frowned at that. Twilight sighed at this exchange and turned to Pinkie, asking, "Pinkie, how long were you out there?" The Pinkie Pie glanced up over her eyes and tapped her chin as thought, before looking back at Twilight and answering, 5 seconds, I think." Sonic asked, "So, what was that whole..." He used his fingers on both sides to mimic the party pony's earlier actions. Pinkie smiled. "Oh, that! I just get super duper excited when new ponies come to Ponyville. That's Twilight. Oh, but you're not a pony, are you? You're a blue hedgehog. Your friends are a tail fox, a red kid, a bunny rabbit, and a tail friend, and a chameleon. Nope, none of you are ponies." Tails stared. How does she know what cheese is? Even Fluttershy didn't know that when she first saw him. Twilight just sighed. It's Pinkie Pie, Tails. Rainbow nodded. That's about all the explanation you need. But whether she accepted this as a common answer to that question, or seemingly didn't notice, Pinkie Pie said, But now you're all here, we can have a party! A big, look at the Ponyville party! I say you could all use some new friends too, bringing new rivals and all, but this seems to have already been taken care of. Tails scratched the back of his head as he said, yeah, well, Pinkie, I'm not sure a party is the best thing we could be doing right now. Twilight spoke before Pinkie could protest. I'm afraid he has a point, Pinkie. I think we're something bigger to be worrying about right now. An elegant voice spoke from behind the group. I believe you are correct, Twilight Sparkle. Everyone, except Pinkie, turned to face the new order in a voice. The Princess of Equestria! One of three. Princess Celestia! Rainbow Dash exclaimed. Twilight recognized the figure walking alongside the Princess of the Sun and said, And Princess Luna! As the two princesses approached, all the ponies at Spike dropped to her brow. Sonic and his friends looked around before deciding to do the same. Both Tails and Knuckles did the same bow as Spike. Sonic, remembering his training, knelt down on his left knee and placed his right hand across his right knee as he lowered his head. Cream held a part of her dress in a curtsy, while Tease did a bow in midair. Espiel bent his body in a bow, while pressing his right fist into a palm of his hand. When the princesses reached the group, Celestia said, Rise, my little ponies. There's no need for such formalities. The ponies and Spike rose at that. Sonic and friends doing the same since they assumed that included him. Ready asked, Princess Celestia, Princess Luna, what are you doing here? Luna hesitantly said, And also ourselves, Lady Rarity. Celestia explained, Luna was asleep and I was dealing with matters of state until a short while ago. I saw a white flash coming from Ponyville. Walked down to the balcony to take a closer look. Only to realize it was coming towards Canterlot. Whatever it was must have knocked me out, for when I regained consciousness, I found myself surrounded by white. After some time searching, I found Luna still fast asleep. The Luna princess let out a long yawn at that, covering her mouth with a hoof. After it had passed, she looked at her older sister and asked, I appreciate that thou woke me up, sister, but did you really have to do it that way? Celestia smiled at her. Well, I tried prodding you and saying your name, but you just wouldn't respond, Luna. What else was I supposed to do? Luna looked away and shook her head, soaring disapproval of her sister's methods. Celestia turned back to the group and continued. After that, we tried to figure out where we were, and we've been wandering lost ever since. We met up with Mario, and he helped us restore Canterlot, until Luna noticed something amongst all the white, that is. Her eyes scanned the group, looking at Sonic and the others before saying, It would appear you've all met some new friends. Twilight spoke. Yes, Princess. Would you like to introduce to you and Luna to them? As both princesses nodded, Twilight held out a hoof towards the hedgehog standing next to her. This is Sonic. Sonic waved his right hand and casually said, Hey. Spike gestured towards Tails and said, This is Tails. The fox nervously spoke. Hello, Princess Celestia, Princess Luna. It's nice to finally meet you both. Elsack held a hoof on Knuckles' shoulder and smiled. This here's Knuckles. The Echidna, not used to meeting royalty, awkwardly grunted. Oh, hi. Fluttershy looked at Cream and Cheese and said, This is Cream and Cheese. Green shyly spoke. Rarity looked over at Espio and said, This mysterious fellow is Espio. The chameleon's eyes had been looking at something off to the side, but stepped forward again at the sound of his name. After a moment, he said, An honor. Princess Celestia could only look at Espio and go, No, it is a great honor to meet you, Matthew Mercer. Celestia nodded. It is an honor to meet all of you as well. Luna slowly nodded in agreement. Sonic noticed Espio's slow response, and Rainbow Dash asked the princesses about how long they'd been wandering around. He looked over at him and noticed his eyes were off to the side again. He leaned forward and whispered, Espio? The chameleon whispered through his teeth, Shh. His eyes continued to move along the row of trees off to the side, until he was looking at the tree directly behind the princesses. As Celestia finished answering Rainbow's question, Espio's left hand moved behind his back, grabbing something. A second later, in one swift moment, he sent a kunai flying over the heads of his friends and between the two princesses, the blade getting lost in the back of the tree. After staring back at the dagger for a moment, Luna turned and glared at Espio, thundering in the Royal Canterlot voice, What do you think you are doing? Before anyone else could say, a voice behind a tree put a hole in Luna's anger as he exclaimed, "What in the world?" Both princesses looked back at the tree, everyone else looking at it true as well. Espiel held his right hand up near his horn, both his index fingers and middle fingers as he said, "My apologies, your highnesses." He then looked at the tree and said, "It takes a stealthy foe to surprise a ninja. And if I remember correctly, that's not your style. Shadow." At the sound of the name, a growl emitted from the tree, and the black and red hedgehog stepped out from behind it. Turning to look at the group with his red eyes. "Huh, I thought that figure creeping around in the forest looked familiar," Sonic commented. Elzak raised an eyebrow as he watched Sonic walk around to the front of the tree. "Light Shadow?" she asked. Twilight glanced over at Sonic and wondered, "How did anyone mistake him for you?" Sonic just shrugged. "Oh, well, you see, Twilight, it's very, very, very simple. First of all, very dark imagery, especially with the cameras. Second of all, do you know how many times somebody could be mistaken for anybody else just from their shadow or their, illustration? It's quite simple, actually. Third, it's quite simple. As, some people could also mistake people just for what they can do or what their abilities are. Fourth, it also depends on how far away they're actually looking at the image. It's actually quite easy to mistake somebody for someone else in this world." Pinkie Pie popped up and sat between them and said, "He's a hedgehog, just like you, Sonic. Oh, is he your brother?" "Only in my stories." As Shadow pulled the kunai out of the tree, Sonic replied, "No, Pinkie, if we were related, I think I'd be dead by now." The pink pony just looked down in instant confusion. Shadow walked over to the group, stopping just a short distance away from the princesses. He then threw the kunai in Espiel's direction. Chameleon merely catching it by the handle, slipping it away. Luna looked at him and said, "Well, you did pretty sorry for using the royal counterlot voice on you, Sir Espiel. Thou art a good soul." The purple chameleon nodded in understanding. Celestia walked over to Shadow and spoke. "So your name is Shadow, is it? A pleasure to meet you. I am Princess Celestia." Shadow crossed his arms and curtly replied, "I know who you are." Although a bit surprised by his responses, Celestia said, "I see. Then perhaps you'll accept my friendship." Shadow grunted, "Shove it." Now that caused some surprise as everyone except Sonic, Knuckles, and Espiel openly gasped. Before Celestia could think of a proper reply, Sonic zipped over, getting between her and Shadow. Then asked, "Shadow, what's the big idea, man? He was just trying to be nice." Shadow replied, "And I'm supposed to accept her and grovel at her hose just because she's a princess? I think not. She can't accept the fact that not everyone can love her just because she's their ruler. It's her problem, not yours." Now, you see, I find this funny because Shadow's acting like a normal Mikey character in this. And we're about to see how the real characters are supposed to react. Rainbow Dash growled, "Why you?" Sonic glanced back there and said, "I got this, Rainbow." He then looked back at Shadow and examined his face. Something doesn't seem right about him. First he was sneaking around, then he claims to know Princess Celestia. Now he starts acting like this? I know he's been dark before, but this is pushing it. He thought and then said, "Fact or not, that doesn't mean you have to be rude about it." Shadow snored, "Too bad." Knuckles growled, "You and your ego, Shadow. One of these states is going to get you in trouble. Trouble you won't have anyone to help you out of." Sonic asked, "Speaking of days, do you have any idea what's going on, Shadow?" Shadow answered, "No, I don't know where we are, nor do I care. All that matters is this is where it ends for you, Sonic. I'll put an end to you once and for all." Sonic glared down for a moment, but he put his hands on his hips and said, "Fine, Shadow, where do you want to settle this?" Shadow let his arms drop to his side and smirked, "I know just a place. Follow me." He then turned and shot off to Whitetail Woods. Almost immediately afterwards, Sonic took out their arm. Twilight wanted to voice her protest, but Rainbow beat her to the punch, yelling, "Be a good Sonic!" Tails called, "Sonic, wait!" He wanted to give his friend the warp ring so he could get back easily, but he was already out of hearing range. Tails side called again, "Be careful!" Twilight looked at him and asked, "Tails, are you okay with this?" Tails looked back and replied, "Not really, but once Shadow sets his mind on something, there's no way to convince him otherwise. Sonic couldn't run from this fight if he tried." Rarity said, "What did you pretend to the hedgehog?" The princesses turned back towards her group, an awkward moment of silence following. It was broken up when Applejack asked the one question been on her mind since the princesses had shown up. "What's this, Luna?" "I know you were asleep and all, but how the hell did you manage to escape?" The lunar princess raised an eyebrow. "I beg your pardon, fair Applejack." Sonic guided the familiar forest around him as he slid along a green vine, recognizing his part in the jungle on Prison Island. Just a moment ago, he had fallen shadow into the portal Rainbow Dash had found in Whitetail Wood, only for the black hedgehog to disappear as soon as he reached the other side. Although a bit thrown off at the sudden disappearance, Sonic was sure that Shadow would show up soon. His hunch proved correct as, after a bit more grinding on the vine, the black hedgehog leapt atop a large tree root in a short ways from her head. Pressing his left hand against the tree trunk, Sonic pointed at him with his left hand and grinned. "I found you, faker!" "Ha! How's that for a bit of deja vu?" Shadow appeared to be momentarily unnerved by the word faker, but quickly regained his composure and said, "I've no plan to play mind games. I hope you can fight as well as you can shoot off your mouth." Sonic smirked as he jumped off the vine towards Shadow. "Look who's talking!" Shadow leapt for the tree root, both he and Sonic passing each other mid-air, before they landed and started running through the jungle, throwing punches and kicks at each other all the while. Eventually, after swinging on some vines and running down a green path, a structure in the distance caught their attention. Sonic shot Shadow a grin before pulling ahead, heading for it. The black hedgehog growled and sped up, following him into a metal pipe that curved downwards. After reaching the end of the pipe, Sonic took off, rushing past a line of makeshift prison cells and scattered military supplies with Shadow in hot pursuit. As he rounded a corner, they realized that there was a chasm between them, the nearest piece of land. Looking around quickly, Sonic noticed a rectangular metal platform poking out of the ground and jumped on it. It depressed for a moment before it shot up like a spring, sending Sonic flying out to the other side of the chasm. Shadow looked on in surprise for a moment, as though he'd never seen such a thing before doing the same. On the other side of the chasm, Sonic found, instead of a path, a river of radioactive sludge in front of him. "This has got to be bad for my health," he commented, while looking at the green ooze. He glanced back to see Shadow coming in for a landing. He shrugged. "Oh well." Turning back to the green river, he ran towards it, leaping out the edge of the platform. Instead of landing in the river, however, he leapt far enough to reach the edge of the canal it was in, and started grinding on a pipe sticking out of it. Shadow stopped at the edge and watched him for a second before doing the same thing. Sonic glanced back at him and wondered, what's he hesitating for? I heard he came here during the Black Arm invasion. He should have at least had some idea what he's doing. The pipe ended branching off, taking him back into the jungle. The pipe was going into a building full of vats containing radioactive liquid. Sonic and Shadow leapt off the end of the pipe, managed to land on the floor rather than one of the vats. They had burst out of the faculty's entrance, took off into the forest once again, Sonic still in the lead. After a short while of running, Shadow managed to catch up to Sonic. He still wasn't close enough to overtaking him yet. He began to fall back as Sonic approached the ledge, the blue hedgehog leaping from the edge to grabbing onto a vine. He used it to swing a chunk of land that was high above the surface, mostly unpolluted water below it. He dashed towards the end of it, where he could see the blue skies through an opening in a large tree. He grinned. It looks like this game's over. A second later, however, the ground beneath him started rumbling, throwing him off. As Sonic tried to remain upright while moving, something green shot over his head and struck a tree branch, breaking it off and falling straight down towards where Sonic hit his head. When he saw it, he quickly planted his feet on the ground, sliding as he tried to stop Floyd being crushed. The tree branch hit the ground before he could get under it. Sonic came to a sharp distance away as it rolled off to the side of the path, a rumbling stop. Before Sonic could stand up, he heard Shadow say, "You're right, Sonic." Sonic looked over his shoulder as the black hedgehog Shadow frowned. "It is over." Suddenly, a green glow surrounded both his hands, and a green ring of fire began to form around Sonic. The blue hedgehog managed to climb to his feet. Before he could move, a green dorm formed around him and to push him down, silhouette sinking into the ground. Shadow walked away as the green flames disappeared, walking through the opening in the tree as he smirked. "And I win."